We've got some myths or facts coming through. I like this section. So let's have a look at this first myth or fact. You lose all access to the UK benefits or pensions if you move to Spain. Myth or fact, guys?
Myth.
I'd say myth.
Myth?
Some maybe. Go on, Colin. You like talking about pensions. I'll talk about cornflakes, and you talk about the serious stuff.
So if you're in receipt of your state pension from the UK, you need to contact the pension office, and they can actually pay it directly into your Spanish bank account. So it's actually paid in euros, or you can still choose to have it paid into your UK account and then have it converted. The only thing I would say is from anybody with private benefits, any company schemes, any personal pensions, and they're obviously going to move out here, you need to take independent financial advice with regards to any private schemes. The state pension is totally different. You don't lose that. You don't lose your rights to it. You might have to transfer private schemes into other kind of pension mechanisms so they work better in Spain as they would in the UK, but you wouldn't lose any benefits.
Okay.
Going back to what we said.
So we're going for a myth.
Going back to what we said to Alex, it's about doing your homework. It's about preparation, planning, and talking to the right people. That is the truth. We are here to help. We are here to signpost you to the right. As we say time and time again on this podcast, we're really good at finding houses and areas and signposting people in the right direction. We will never pretend to be a Spanish lawyer, even though our knowledge is high. What we do is we signpost you to the right people to make sure all the planning and preparation is done, ready for when we find that house.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Let's have our next one. Buying property in Spain is a slow and difficult process.
Definitely a myth, especially compared to the UK.
Compared to the UK, that's got to be a myth.
Oh, my dad received an offer on one of his properties in... I think it was the beginning of the year. Still going through now. And they can pull out at any point during the process because there's no financial implication. Spain is great. You find your property, you put your money down, you put a bit more money down in a month, and your solicitors will do their thing. They will do the searches, all completely detailed. No skipping corners or anything like that. It's all done properly, and you can have the keys within 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah,
there's no chains in Spain either, Aki. So one of the things that we've got a list as long as both of my arms of people who want to relocate, and we've got a list as long as one of my arms of people who are in the process of trying to sell the house in a pretty slow market, as we understand. But even once somebody says I've got that offer, it's often 6 months down the line because the amount of sales that fall through, because the chain breaks, you've got 15 people up and 35 people down. There's no chain in Spain. When you put your reservation down, there's no chain. It's just you and the seller.
No,
and that's why we can go through rapid.
That does make it more streamlined.
If that question was buying property in the UK is a slow and difficult process, I would agree with that one.
100%. Yeah. No, good question. Good myth or fact, that one. Are there any more? Yes, there is. So healthcare in Spain isn't very good. Oh, interesting. What do you reckon, guys?
Hell, I think Spain is one of the leaders in Europe when it comes to healthcare. It's absolutely fantastic. It's got a very similar system to the UK in the sense that you've got the Spanish healthcare system, which is it's built a little bit differently, as in how you pay your contributions and who's eligible, but the system itself allows you access to really, really good Spanish healthcare. Obviously, the wrong problem, but this is our problem and not Spain's problem, is a language barrier. And that can be the issue sometimes. If you don't speak, I think I've said this before as well, to repeat myself, sometimes they don't speak English. Yep. You're in Spain. Do you go to your doctor in the UK and he can speak fluent Spanish? Nope. So it's not going to be different over here. The only difficulty sometimes is healthcare. But you've got private options and there's translators and more options there. Or what people will do is they will take a translator to their appointments. if needs be. But the healthcare itself is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
and we're going to have a competition one day of what I used to do in my past life before selling property. But I know a lot about the NHS, and it's definitely comparable, I would say.
The other thing is, Aki, that the population in Spain's it's only 47 million.
Yeah.
So the actual state system, unfortunately, unlike the UK, just isn't absolutely overrun. And I mean, you get a doctor's appointment and it's so efficient. The other option you had, as Lisa's touched on over here, is to retain some kind of private healthcare. So if you're coming over here on a visa, on a non-lucrative visa, and you're not already retired, i.e. state retired, you have to have private healthcare as part of that visa process for a minimum of 1 year. Now, you have the option after 1 year to enroll in the equivalent of the Spanish national healthcare system for around €65 a head each month. But a lot of people just keep their private healthcare, because the nice thing here is private healthcare isn't that expensive either. To give you an idea for myself and Deborah, who, you know, I'm in my late 30s. No laughing there, no.
I was about to say,
I'm sure
and the VAT, but I think there's
we've just been at your birthday.
That was my next one. That was my next one.
More than 100% tax on that one, isn't it, Colin?
No, let's
I've seen the candles on the
far.
cake, Colin. I was there at your birthday party, mate. I was there.
But I mean, even of people of my senior years, it's something like €1,500 a year each. Now, if you compare that to private healthcare in the UK, which I had many years ago, is astronomical cost, and everything's covered with no excess. So, absolute myth. Good.
So, what do you say there? €3,000 a year?
No, 1,500 for both. That's for both of us.
I've got private. I took out. I'm eligible for Spanish. I've got a SIT card. So has Colin, because we work. And the reason I did it was because I know healthcare, and because of my understanding that the thought of being somewhere or with my children somewhere and not being able to understand the language, which is my fault, completely my fault, because I can't speak Spanish in Spain. That made me nervous. It was one of the things that made me a little bit nervous. So I took out private healthcare, because at the day, if I want to be able to speak in English, then I suppose it's my responsibility to have to pay for that, really. But incomparable, I've got, what would you say? Do you have private healthcare in England, Aki?
Yeah, I do, and because I have alopecia, and I go privately, and it is really expensive.
Yeah. We pay. So I've got 5 people on my policy. So 2 adults, 2 children, and a 20. Well, I say she's a child under my policy, but she's 23. So technically, it's 3 adults into on my policy. That is for full healthcare and dental. We've got dental. How much do you think it cost me a month?
Go on.
€250.
Yeah. Which is what one visit costs me.
Yeah, three grand a year.
And that gets me everything. And I make the most of my healthcare.
Yeah, you're getting your money's worth out of yours, like.
I am at the minute. Yeah. Just finished my 2nd session of physiotherapy, and having problems with my neck and my back. I've had scans. I've had an MRI scan to every part of my body in the past 12 months. So I'm definitely getting my money's worth out of it.
The name Crabtree in that insurance office is dirt, Aki.
That's our next episode of the Crabtree.
It's in my intro again.
Maybe we need to do that at some point. Maybe we need to show the hospital facilities and things.
Well, actually, why not? I think it's a great. Good video.
How easy it is. It's massively easy. But yeah, I would say, back to the question, it's just as good.
Total myth.
Good. Yeah. All right. Brilliant. They were good myths and facts, those.
See you.